not the place to be going after members in this way. If there's a concern about a member, it should be at the Ethics Committee. But if members on the majority are going to go after members in our caucus, we're going to do the same. And so
they thought this would die quietly in committee. It didn't. Nancy Mace put Ilhan Omar's immigration record on the table. Democrats panicked. And suddenly the Oversight Committee wasn't about oversight anymore. It was about who gets protected and who gets investigated.
The committee will now proceed with the Mace motion to subpoena the Department of... I'll recognize Ms. Mace to explain her motion.
Yes, this is to subpoena the immigration records of Ilhan Omar and her alleged brother husband and another husband whose names I cannot pronounce. The Committee on Oversight and Government Reform is the principal oversight committee of the U.S. House of Representatives and has broad authority to investigate any matter at any time under House Rule 10. And this particularly, the legislative thing that this would inform would identify reforms regarding immigration fraud and denaturalization processes, potential criminal liability, things that we needed to address statutorily and legislatively. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Mr. Garcia to speak on the Mace amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have an amendment to the motion made by Representative Mace.
State your amendment.
At the end of the motion, I'd like to add, pursuant to Clause 2K6 of House Rule 11, the committee shall subpoena all documents and communications from the Department of Defense regarding the military service record of Representative Corey Mills of Florida.
Amen.
All documents, communications, and contracts from the Department of Defense, Department of Justice, of Interior, of Homeland Security, and Department of State related to Representative Corey Mills of Florida. And any business in which he or any relative has a financial or controlling interest, including Pacom Defense, Pacom Solutions International LLC, ALS LLC, and any documents and communications from the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, Ed Martin, in his personal capacity, and the White House regarding any communications around the February 2025 domestic violence incident in Washington, D.C., involving Representative Corey Mills of Florida. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized to explain the amendment.
Mr. Garcia amended the Mace motion. Does any other member seek recognition?
I'd like to just comment on the motion.
Go ahead.
And then I can, if I can comment
I'll
on it
recognize Garcia, then Mace. Go ahead.
I just want to just begin by saying, broadly speaking, on the initial motion, Congresswoman Omar is a proud member of this body and an American, and as American as any member of this body. She's a public servant and a fighter for her constituents, and she represents the American dream. And I know I and House Democrats are honored and proud to support her and to serve with her. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has endured horrific attacks her entire time in public office, and we admire her courage. My motion requests documents on Corey Mills, a Republican from Florida, and I just want to note that this is not the best way of handling these types of issues, and we are introducing this only because this is being introduced on Representative Ilhan Omar. And so we are forced to make this motion and this amendment to Nancy Mace's, Representative Mace's, Nancy Mace's motion. And so with that, I conclude.
Gentleman yields back. Now, Chair recognizes Ms. Mace to speak on the Garcia amendment to her motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I support Representative Garcia's amendment, and you beat me to it. I was going to do this on the House Armed Services Committee, and I'm a little jealous that you beat me to it. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. It is the best sunshine, and if there are individuals, I don't care about party, I don't care about affiliation, this needs to be we need to get to the bottom of it and what's going on. And quite frankly, I don't think someone that allegedly is doing arms deals should be sitting on the Foreign Affairs Committee or the House Armed Services Committee. And if this is what gets to the bottom of what's happening over there, then I support it and I support the amendment, and let's do it.
All right, you yield back. You yield to me. So I've had several members request information about trying to determine if Ms. Omar was involved in any of the Somali fraud and this and that. The thing that I've told people is the Ethics Committee is set up to do that. That's what the Ethics Committee's sole purpose is to investigate members. So we've got a motion by Mr. Garcia to amend Ms. Mace's motion. Both the amendment and the motion seek this committee to investigate sitting members of Congress. That's not something the Oversight Committee does, but we're a Democratic committee, and I'm not telling anybody in here how to vote. You vote however you want. But that's what the Ethics Committee role is. That's their jurisdiction. And I just wanted to state that. And again, look, I'm for whatever. I'm for transparency. You all vote the way you want. This committee's wired. You're going to vote the way you want anyway. I don't think the ranking member can tell his members how to vote, and I can't tell my members how to vote. I'm just telling you that's what the Ethics Committee's sole purpose in life is. So,
Mr. Chairman,
just stating that.
on a point of order.
Mr. Chairman.
Which one do we want to, Mr. Lynch?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if I believe you're correct in your assessment that that is not something within our jurisdiction. That would mean that that motion would be out of order, not subject to a vote, and let's do this anyway, even though it's not within our jurisdiction. That's a jurisdiction of another committee, and we normally and regularly refer matters that are not within our jurisdiction to other committees, and that's how that should be handled, sir. Yeah. That's my thought.
The previous chairman of the, I'm going to respond to Mr. Lynch's inquiry. The previous chairwoman of the committee from New York, remind me, Maloney. She said the Oversight Committee has jurisdiction over anything and everything, and I kind of tend to believe that. But now the Ethics Committee has primary jurisdiction. There's no question about that. Now, do we have secondary jurisdiction? Possibly, probably, whatever. I'm not.
Mr. Chairman, under Rule 10, we have the ability. We have full oversight of the U.S. House of Representatives.
We can do pretty much what we want in this committee, but I just want to make it very clear so we don't start going down this road, or this committee will just turn into investigating other members, whoever's in control. That's what the Ethics Committee set up to do. I'm not. Look, Ms. Mace, you can file any motion
and it was
you want,
covered
and Mr.
up. We should
Garcia
find
can file
out.
any
If
motion.
someone married their brother to commit immigration fraud, we should find out. That's what this committee can do.
I understand.
Let's not defame
girlfriend.
members of Congress. Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to add to you. I just want to agree, first of all. I think Oversight Democrats, we don't believe either of these motions should be discussed. This is not the place to be going after members in this way. If there's a concern about a member, it should be at the Ethics Committee. But if members on the majority are going to go after members in our caucus, we're going to do the same. And so if the Republican majority wants to remove this amendment or vote this amendment down completely, we would join you on that. But what we're not going to do is allow the attack on one of our members.
And I'm
Mr.
not
Chairman,
defending or opposing. I'm just saying that's what the Ethics
This is what we do up here. We just protect each other and protect our own, and nobody ever gets held accountable for anything up here. That's what this whole thing is BS.
It goes to the Ethics Committee.
Nancy Mace stepped into the Oversight Committee and did what Congress is supposed to do, demand answers. She moved to subpoena Ilhan Omar's immigration records, citing long-standing questions about possible immigration fraud and the need for legislative clarity on denaturalization and enforcement. Immediately, the room shifted. Democrats didn't argue the facts. They argued the forum. They rushed to say Omar is as American as anyone, praised her courage, and framed the motion as an attack instead of what it was, a request for transparency. Then came the counterplay. Democrats introduced an amendment dragging Republican Corey Mills into motion, expanding it into a partisan standoff instead of focused inquiry. The goal was clear: turn accountability into chaos. So nothing gets answered. Here's where it gets revealing. Nancy Mace didn't run from it. She supported the amendment. No party loyalty. No special protections. Her message was simple. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. If there's wrongdoing, investigate it, Republican or Democrat. That's when leadership stepped in to slow everything down. Members on both sides suddenly discovered a deep respect for the Ethics Committee. We were told Oversight isn't a place to investigate members of Congress. The same Oversight Committee that claims authority over almost everything suddenly had limits. Let's be honest. This wasn't about process. It was about protection. When the questions get uncomfortable, Congress circles the wagons. Accusations get labeled as dangerous precedent. Accountability gets kicked down the road. In the end, Democrats moved to table a motion, and the committee voted to bury it. No subpoena, no records, no answers. Just another example of how Washington works when one of its own is under scrutiny. Nancy Mace forced the issue. The rest of Congress showed why Americans don't trust this institution anymore. Like, subscribe, comment, and share if you're tired of a system that protects itself instead of the truth.